The council chamber floated in the darkness of space, spinning slowly around a dying star. Inside the massive station, 7 different alien species sat in their designated seats. The room was circular, with each species taking up one section of the Great Hall. Holographic displays showed star maps and treaty documents floating in the air between them. Admiral Jake Morrison stood in the center of the room. He wore his dark blue uniform with the Earth Defense symbol on his chest. His gray hair was cut short, and his face showed no emotion as he looked at the alien leaders around him. Next to him stood Ambassador Lisa Green, a woman with sharp eyes and a calm smile that never quite reached her full face. High Chancellor Vex Thor clicked his mandibles together, making a sound like laughter. The insect-like creature was 3 meters tall, with 6 arms and armor plating that gleamed under the chamber lights. His species, the Krev, had ruled half the galaxy for over 1,000 years. "You want more ships?" Vex Thor's translator turned his clicking into words everyone could understand. "Humans. You have been here for 200 years. Just 200. My people have sailed the stars for 10,000 years. You ask for things you have not earned." The other council members made sounds of agreement. The Quindal. Beings made of pure energy contained in floating crystals. Pulsed with yellow light. The massive rock-like Thorians rumbled deep in their stone chests. The sleek, water-dwelling Neshari splashed in their tank seats. Lisa Green stepped forward. "We only ask for what the treaty allows. 20 new ships to protect our trade routes. The pirates in Sector 9 have been growing bold." "Pirates?" Another council member spoke. A tall, blue-skinned humanoid named Khalsan. "Your little ships cannot handle a few raiders? Perhaps humans are too soft for this galaxy." More laughter echoed through the chamber. Jake Morrison's jaw tightened, but he said nothing. He had been ordered to stay quiet unless directly addressed. Lisa could handle the diplomatic dance. "We can handle the pirates," Lisa said, her voice steady. "But the treaty limits our military vessels. We simply request permission to build within those limits." Vex Thor leaned forward on his throne. "The treaty limits are based on your species' value to the Council. Your value is small. Very small. You provide nothing we cannot get elsewhere. Your technology is primitive. Your worlds are few. Your fleet should remain small to match your importance." Jake Morrison finally spoke. His voice was quiet but clear. "Then, we have nothing more to discuss today?" "No," Vex Thor said. "You have nothing more to say. The Council has spoken. Your request is denied. Come back in another 100 years, when you have something useful to offer us." The other aliens made sounds of approval. The council session was clearly over. Lisa Green gathered her data tablets, moving with careful, measured steps. Jake Morrison turned to leave, but not before he looked up at Vex's Thor one more time. The human admiral smiled. It was a small smile, barely there, but something about it made the High Chancellor pause. It was not the smile of a defeated man. "Thank you for your time," Jake said. "I think you will find humans are more useful than you believe. Very soon." Lisa and Jake walked out of the chamber together. Behind them, the council members began talking among themselves, already forgetting about the human request. To them, humanity was just another small species trying to play with the big powers. They had seen dozens of species like this over the centuries. Outside the chamber, Lisa and Jake entered a private corridor that led to the human embassy section. As soon as the doors sealed behind them, Lisa let out a long breath. "That went exactly as we expected," she said. "Better, actually," Jake replied. Vex Thor was even more arrogant than our intelligence predicted. The other council members followed his lead without question. Unquote. "Welv." Vex Thor was unquote. "Welv, are you sure about this?" Lisa asked. "Once we show them, there is no going back. The whole galaxy will change." Jake nodded slowly. "Command gave the order before we even arrived. The ships left Earth orbit 3 days ago. They will be here In 6 hours. 6 hours, Lisa repeated. And then, we shatter their comfortable little reality. A young officer approached them, saluting quickly. His name was Ben Hayes, and he served as the commander of their small fleet operations in this sector. Admiral, we received confirmation. All 3 ships have entered the system. Captain Foster reports all systems are running perfectly. Good, Jake said. Tell them to hold position at the edge of the system. We wait until the full council is gathered again. I want every species leader watching when we make our point. Ben hesitated. Sir, the crew is nervous. Some of them think we are starting a war. We are not starting anything, Jake said firmly. We are ending 200 years of being treated like children. The council has kept us small because they fear what we might become. Today, they learn that we already became it. Lisa looked at a display panel on the wall showing the council chamber. Vex Thor is still in there, celebrating his easy victory over the primitive humans. Should we tell him he might want to call his fleet? No, Jake said with that same small smile. They walked deeper into the human section of the station. Through windows along the corridor, they could see the neutron star spinning in the distance, its surface crackling with energy storms. Around the station, various alien ships floated in designated parking zones. Most of them were massive, some stretching over 50 kilometers in length. The largest ships belonged to the Krev Empire, great wedge-shaped vessels covered in weapons. In comparison, the few human ships docked at the station were tiny. Small patrol craft and transport vessels, nothing that could threaten a real military power. That was what the council saw. That was what they expected. But in 6 hours, 3 ships would arrive that matched nothing in the council's experience. Ships that were small on the outside but contained impossible power within. Ships that humanity had built in secret while the galaxy laughed at them. Jake Morrison stood at the window, looking at the Krev flagship in the distance. The World Breaker, they called it. A ship that had destroyed entire fleets in past wars. A ship that the Council used as a symbol of their overwhelming power. I wonder, Jake said quietly, if Vex Thor truly believes his World Breaker cannot be beaten. Lisa stood next to him. He has never seen it lose. None of them have. They think their technology has peaked. They think nothing new can surprise them. Then today, Jake said, they learn that humans do not play by their rules. We never did. We just pretended to while we worked. The countdown had begun. In 6 hours, the galaxy would shake. 5 years earlier, deep in the Kuiper Belt beyond Neptune, Dr. Amy Chen floated in zero gravity inside a research station that did not officially exist. She stared at the equations on her screen, her eyes wide with disbelief. Around her, the research bay hummed with the sound of machines processing data that should not be possible. Run it again, she said to her assistant. There has to be an error. The assistant, a young man named Peter, shook his head. I have run it 17 times, doctor. The math is correct. It should not work according to everything we know about physics, but it does work. Amy pushed herself over to the window. Outside, she could see the artifact they had recovered from Earth's ocean floor 3 years ago. It was a sphere, perfectly smooth, made of a material that did not match anything in the periodic table. The artifact floated in a containment field, rotating slowly and pulsing with a faint blue light. Where did it come from? Amy wondered aloud. Not for the first time. Does it matter? A voice said behind her. Captain Ryan Foster entered the research bay, pulling himself along the handrails with practiced ease. He was a military pilot, one of the best Earth had ever produced, and he had been assigned to test whatever technology came from the artifact project. It matters, Amy said, because whoever made this was far beyond anything in the current galaxy. The Council species think they are advanced. This artifact is millions of years old and still works perfectly. Its technology is so far ahead that our best scientists barely understand it. Ryan floated next to her, looking at the sphere. Can you make it work on a ship? Amy turned back to her computer. That is why I called you here. I think we can. The artifact taught us something incredible. Space is not what we think it is. Space can fold. Not just fold for travel, but fold inside itself. I do not understand. Ryan admitted. Amy pulled up a hologram, showing a simple box. Imagine a box that is 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter on the outside. Now, imagine that inside this box, space is folded so that the interior is actually 100 meters by 100 meters by 100 meters. From the outside, you see a small box, but inside, you have a massive room. Ryan stared at the hologram. That is impossible. That is what I thought too, Amy said. But the artifact does exactly this. It creates a pocket dimension inside a small space. We can do the same thing with ships. We can build a ship that looks small on the outside but is massive on the inside. We can fit weapons, power cores, and systems that would normally require a ship 50 kilometers long into a hull that is only 400 meters long. Ryan's eyes went wide. The Council would never see it coming. They judge ships by their size. They think bigger is always better. Exactly, Amy said. And there is more. The dimensional folding also works on the engines. We can create gravity drives that fold space around the ship. No inertia. No G-forces on the crew. Instant acceleration to any speed we want. Another person entered the research bay. Engineer Kate Sullivan was responsible for designing the actual ship systems. She carried a data tablet and looked tired, but excited. Dr. Chen? I finished the hull design. If your dimensional math is correct, we can build 3 prototype ships with what we have. 3? Ryan asked. Why 3? Because, Kate explained, we need to prove this works. 1 ship might be a fluke. 3 ships is a pattern. 3 ships is a threat. Director Dan Price appeared on a communication screen. He was back on Earth, overseeing the entire secret project from a hidden command center in Colorado. His gray beard and serious expression made him look older than his 50 years. I have been reviewing the reports, Dan said. This technology will change everything. If we reveal it too early, the Council will demand we share it. They might even attack Earth to take it from us. So we wait, Amy said. We build in secret until we have enough ships to defend ourselves. Not just defend, Dan said quietly. Enough ships to make sure nobody ever tells us we cannot defend ourselves. The Council has kept us weak for 200 years. They limit our military. They laugh at our requests. This ends now. Ryan crossed his arms. When do we start testing? Immediately, Kate said. The first hull is already under construction in Shipyard 7. We are calling it the EHS Defiance. You will be the captain, Ryan. Over the following months, the shipyard worked day and night. The Defiance took shape in the darkness of space, hidden from Council sensors by stealth fields and false signals. The ship was sleek and dark, only 400 meters from bow to stern. To any outside observer, it looked like a small frigate, barely worth noticing. But inside, the dimensional folding made it a monster. The power core was 10 times larger than what the outer hull should contain. The weapons bay held singularity cannons that could punch through any known shield. The hangar space could fit 500 small fighters. All of this existed in folded space, compressed into dimensions that did not match the exterior. Lieutenant Nicole Parker worked on the weapon systems, her hands moving quickly over the control panels. She was young but brilliant, having designed most of the targeting computers herself. Captain Foster, the singularity cannons are ready for testing. But I need to warn you. These weapons are dangerous. They create tiny black holes that last for only a few seconds. But in that time, they can destroy anything. Ryan sat in the captain's chair of the Defiance, feeling the ship around him. Everything responded perfectly. The gravity, Drive hummed smoothly. The dimensional shields were holding stable. Can the black holes be controlled? End. King Ting. End quote. Yes, Nicole said. They form, they eat whatever is in front of them, and then they collapse. No radiation, no lasting damage to space itself. Clean destruction. How clean can destruction be? Ryan muttered. 2 more ships joined the Defiance in the following months. The EHS Liberty and the EHS Valkyrie. Each one identical in design but with small variations in their systems. Captain Laura Bennett took command of the Liberty. She was a veteran of the Council's small conflicts, having served on patrol duty for 15 years. Captain Chris Mason commanded the Valkyrie. He was younger but aggressive, perfect for testing the combat systems. Amy Chen visited each ship, checking the dimensional systems personally. On the Valkyrie, she found Chris in the hangar bay, watching as crews loaded the small fighters into their launch tubes. 500 fighters in a space that should fit 20. Chris said with wonder in his voice. How stable is this folding? What happens if it fails? It will not fail, Amy said, but her voice had a hint of doubt. We have tested it thousands of times. The dimensional mathematics are perfect. But yes, if it fails, the space would collapse back to normal size. Everything inside would be compressed instantly. Compressed? Chris asked. Crushed, Amy said bluntly. Everyone would die in a fraction of a second. The entire ship would implode. Chris was quiet for a moment. That is a risk I can live with. The Council has been pushing humans around for 2 centuries. I joined the military to fight, but they never let us build anything worth fighting with. Now, we have these ships. Now, we can push back. Amy watched the crews working. They were excited, confident, ready to show the galaxy what humans could do. But she felt a weight on her chest. This technology was meant for exploration. The artifact, whoever made it. They probably used dimensional folding to explore the universe. We are turning it into a weapon. Every tool can be a weapon, Chris said. And right now, we need weapons. The Council respects only strength. We tried being friendly. We tried following their rules. They still treat us like children. Time to grow up. Back on Earth, Dan Price stood in the command center, looking at the status reports from all 3 ships. Behind him, military advisors and government officials waited for his decision. Sir, one advisor said, the ships are ready. But once we reveal them, we cannot take it back. The Council will see us as a threat. Dan turned to face them. They already see us as nothing. I prefer they see us as a threat. At least then, they will respect us. He opened a communication channel to the 3 ships floating in the Kuiper Belt. Captain Foster, Captain Bennett, Captain Mason, you are authorized to begin operations. Wait for Admiral Morrison's signal. When the Council denies our request, as we know they will, you will show them why they should have said yes. Ryan Foster's voice came through the speakers. Understood, Director. All 3 ships are ready. We will change the galaxy's mind about humanity. The communication ended. Amy Chen floated in the research bay of the station, looking at the artifact one more time. I hope, Amy Chen, she whispered to the ancient sphere, that you would approve of what we are doing. We are not conquerors. We are just tired of being prey. The artifact pulsed with blue light, as if answering. But it said nothing, keeping its secrets buried in mathematics and impossible physics. Humanity had learned its lessons. Now the galaxy would learn theirs. The council chamber filled with alien leaders once again. 6 hours had passed since they rejected humanity's request. Now Admiral Jake Morrison stood in the center of the room, his posture straight and confident. Ambassador Lisa Green stood beside him, holding a data tablet. High Chancellor Vexthor clicked his mandibles in annoyance. Why have you called another session, human? We already gave you our answer. I know, Jake said calmly. But I have a different proposal now. A demonstration. The council members made sounds of confusion and irritation. Vex's Thor leaned forward on his throne. A demonstration of what? Your primitive ships? We have seen enough human technology. It bores us. Jake smiled that same small smile from before. I think you will find this demonstration very interesting. 3 of our vessels have just entered the system. I request permission to show you their capabilities. 3 ships? The Nashari representative splashed in his water tank with laughter. 3 ships? Is your great demonstration? We have thousands of ships in this system. Quality over quantity. Lisa said. That is what humanity has learned from you. You taught us that bigger is better. Stronger is better. We took that lesson to heart. Vex Thor's compound eyes focused on Jake. What exactly are you proposing? A simple combat test, Jake said. My ships against one of yours. No live ammunition. Just a demonstration of capabilities. If you are confident in your superiority, this should be easy for you. The chamber fell silent. Other council members whispered among themselves. Vex Thor clicked his mandibles slowly, thinking. Finally, he spoke. Very well. I will indulge this human arrogance. The Worldbreaker is stationed near this system. My flagship will participate in your demonstration. I might prodigally, when your tiny ships are disabled in seconds, perhaps you will learn humility. Perhaps, Jake agreed. But his tone suggested he thought otherwise. The council moved to the observation deck, a massive room with floor-to-ceiling windows showing the space around the station. In the distance, the Worldbreaker could be seen, a massive wedge-shaped vessel 60 kilometers long. Its hull was covered in weapons, batteries, and shield generators. It was the pride of the Krev Empire, a ship that had never been defeated in battle. Near the station, 3 small ships appeared from FTL Jump. They were dark and sleek, each one only 400 meters long. Compared to the Worldbreaker, they looked like insects next to a whale. The council members laughed openly. Some made jokes in their native languages. Vex Thor stood at the window, his mandibles spread wide in amusement. Those are your warships? He said. They are the size of transport vessels. What can they possibly do against a real military ship? Jake Morrison stood calm, hands behind his back. Watch and learn. A communication channel opened. Captain Ryan Foster's voice filled the observation deck. EHS Defiance. Ready. All systems operational. EHS Liberty ready, Captain Laura Bennett reported. EHS Valkyrie ready, Captain Chris Mason added. Vex Thor clicked orders into his communicator. Worldbreaker. This is High Chancellor Vex Thor. Human vessels will attempt to demonstrate against you. Treat this as a combat scenario. Disable their ships but do not destroy them. I want them alive to see their failure. The Worldbreaker responded. Its massive engines glowing as it moved into position. Shield indicators showed it was at full defensive power. Its weapons were charged but set to training mode. Strong enough to disable, but not kill. Defiance, Jake said into his communicator. Show them the gravity shield. Ryan Foster activated the dimensional shield around the Defiance. Space itself seemed to bend and twist around the small ship. Light bent strangely as reality warped near the hull. The effect was visible even from the observation deck, making several council members step back from the window. What is that? The Quindal representative pulsed in alarm. That distortion. It should not be possible. That is human engineering, Lisa said proudly. The Worldbreaker fired a test shot. A beam of concentrated energy that could cut through standard shields in seconds. The beam hit the Defiance and simply curved around it, bending in impossible directions before dissipating harmlessly into space. The council chamber erupted in confused voices. Vex Thor's mandibles snapped shut. Fire again! Full power! The Worldbreaker unleashed its main batteries. Dozens of energy beams and missile salvos converging on the small human ship. None of them connected. The gravity shield bent space so severely that every attack curved away, following the distorted geometry around the ship. Defiance, Jake said. Return fire. One shot. Singularity round. Disable only. Ryan Foster targeted the Worldbreaker carefully. The Singularity cannon charged, creating a compressed point of gravity in the weapon's barrel. When it fired, the round looked like a tiny black sphere traveling through space. It moved slowly compared to energy weapons, but nothing could stop it. The Worldbreaker's shields tried to block the round. The Singularity punched through them like they were not even there. It passed through the shields, through the outer hull, and into the Worldbreaker's power core section. For 3 seconds, the Singularity existed, creating a tiny black hole that ate energy and matter. Then it collapsed, leaving a perfectly spherical hole through multiple decks. Every system on the Worldbreaker went dark. The massive ship drifted powerless in space. Its shields were down. Its weapons were offline. Its engines were dead. One shot from a ship 400 meters long had disabled a vessel 60 kilometers in size. The observation deck was completely silent. Every alien leader stared at the window in shock. Vex's Thor's mandibles trembled, his compound eyes fixed on the small human ship that had just destroyed his flagship's reputation in seconds. How? He whispered. Liberty, Jake said calmly. Show them the jump drive. Captain Laura Bennett activated the dimensional jump system. The EHS Liberty simply vanished from where it was and reappeared 5,000 kilometers away, inside the Worldbreaker's defensive perimeter. It did not travel through space. It folded space and stepped through it. Instantaneous movement. With no FTL signature. Valkyrie, Jake continued. Show them the hangar. The EHS Valkyrie rotated, and its side bays opened. Small fighters began streaming out. Dozens at first, then hundreds. They kept coming. Impossible numbers pouring from a ship that should not be able to hold more than 20. 500 fighters launched in under a minute, forming a massive swarm around the Valkyrie. The council members began shouting, some in fear, some in anger, some in disbelief. The Thorian representative's deep voice boomed through the chamber. This violates the treaty. Ships cannot have these capabilities. This breaks all known physics. 1. Does it break the treaty? Lisa asked, pulling up documents on her tablet. Show me where the treaty limits internal ship dimensions. Show me where it forbids gravity manipulation. Show me where it restricts FTL jump methods. The treaty limits the number of ships and their external size. Our ships meet those requirements exactly. You are playing with words, Vex Thor shouted. You are cheating the spirit of the agreement. We are following the rules you wrote, Jake said firmly. You wrote rules based on your technology and your understanding of physics. You assumed all ships would be like your ships. You assumed humanity would never find a better way. You were wrong. Several council members reached for their emergency communicators, calling their fleets. The Krev began activating their defense forces. The Nashari military went on high alert. The chamber descended into chaos. Jake Morrison raised his voice. If you attack those 3 ships, they will defend themselves. I assure you, your fleets will not win. We have been building these ships in secret for 5 years. Earth has 47 more just like them in our home system. We could have built hundreds, but we wanted to give you a chance to accept this peacefully. Vex Thor turned to face Jake, his alien face showing rage. You have doomed your species, human. We will call every fleet in the galaxy. We will destroy Earth before you can build more of these abominations. You can try, Jake said quietly. But those 3 ships outside? They are holding back. Their weapons are set to disable. Their shields are at minimum power. They are being gentle because we want peace. But if you force a war, we will show you what these ships can really do. And Chancellor, I promise you, your species will not survive the lesson. The threat hung in the air, clear and cold. Lisa stepped forward. We do not want war. We want respect. We want to be treated as equals. We have the power to demand it now. But we are still asking nicely. Give us that respect. Change the treaty terms. And these ships will protect all of Galaxy 7. Force us to fight, and we will do what we must to survive. Captain Ryan Foster's voice came over the communication channel. Admiral Morrison, we are detecting fleet movements. Multiple species are mobilizing their forces. Hold position, Jake ordered. Do not fire, unless fired upon. The observation deck had become a scene of chaos and fear. The impossible human ships had changed everything. The balance of power that had existed for 3,000 years was shattered. The small species that everyone ignored had just revealed they were the strongest force in the galaxy. And nobody knew what would happen next. 3 days after the demonstration, Ambassador Lisa Green sat in a secure negotiation room on the council station. Across from her were representatives from 4 different species, all looking nervous and uncertain. The galaxy had not stopped talking about the human ships. Fear spread like wildfire across every civilized world. You must understand our position, the Quindal diplomat pulsed, its crystal form flickering with anxious yellow light. Your technology threatens the entire balance of power. Species are panicking. Some call for war against Earth before you become unstoppable. Lisa folded her hands on the table. We were already unstoppable 3 years ago, when we finished the first prototype. We chose to wait. We chose to try diplomacy first. That should tell you something about our intentions. It tells us you were planning this, a Thorian representative rumbled. Building weapons in secret, while pretending to follow our rules. You gave us no choice, Lisa said sharply. For 200 years, you limited our fleet. You denied every request for expansion. You laughed at us in council meetings. Did you think we would stay weak forever? Did you think humanity would just accept being treated as inferior? The room fell silent. None of them had good answers to those questions. Meanwhile, Admiral Jake Morrison stood in the Human Embassy's command center, watching displays showing fleet movements across the galaxy. General Paul Stevens, Earth's senior military strategist, stood next to him. The screens showed a troubling picture. The Krev Empire has mobilized 300 warships, Paul said. The Nashari added 200. The Thorians, 150. 6 other species have pledged support. They are forming a coalition fleet of over 2,000 ships. Target? Jake asked, though he already knew the answer. Earth. Paul confirmed. Intelligence reports suggest they plan to jump directly to the Sol system and destroy our shipyards before we can build more vessels. They figure if they can eliminate our construction capability, the 50 ships we have will be all we ever have. Jake turned to face a holographic star map. Earth glowed in blue at the center, with Sol system defenses marked in green. The coalition fleet was gathering 10 light-years away, marked in red. The numbers looked overwhelming. What do our analysts say about our chances? Jake asked. Paul pulled up tactical projections. If they attack, our 50 ships can hold the line. The dimensional shields and singularity weapons give us a significant advantage. But they have numbers. Eventually, they could overwhelm us through sheer attrition. Not if we use the torpedoes, Jake said quietly. Paul's face went pale. Sir, those weapons are classified at the highest level. Even I barely know about them. The torpedoes can create black holes that last for 10 minutes instead of 3 seconds, Jake explained. 1 torpedo could destroy an entire fleet. 10 torpedoes could sterilize a planet. We built them as a last resort. If Earth is about to fall, we use them. That would be genocide, Paul said. Entire species would be wiped out. And if they destroy Earth, humanity is wiped out, Jake replied. I will not let that happen. If they force this war, they will learn that we built weapons capable of ending civilizations. Maybe that knowledge will make them reconsider. On the Coalition command ship, High Chancellor Vex Thor sat in conference with the other fleet leaders. The Nishari Admiral Korseth splashed in his water tank, his translated voice angry. We must strike now. Every day we wait, the humans build more ships. They admitted they have 47 more. By next month, they might have 100. Agreed, said Commander Telvac of the Thorians. Overwhelming force is our only option. We jump to Earth, destroy their shipyards, and force their surrender. Vex Thor clicked his mandibles slowly. And if they have more weapons we have not seen? They surprised us once. What if they surprise us again? What choice do we have? Korseth demanded. Let them build until they are truly unstoppable? No. We strike now while we still have numerical superiority. Korseth. 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 The vote was called. Species after species agreed to the attack. Only 2 voted against. The coalition fleet began final preparations for the jump to Sol system, but not everyone in the coalition agreed. 3 species secretly contacted Lisa Green, requesting private negotiations. The first was a reptilian species called the Velcri, who had been minor members of the Council for centuries. We do not want war with humans, the Velcri ambassador said over a secure channel. Our species has always been practical. You have superior technology. Fighting you is foolish. We wish to withdraw from the coalition. Lisa seized the opportunity. Withdraw publicly. Make a statement that your species believes in peaceful resolution. It will encourage others to question the war. The Krev will be angry, the Velcri warned. Let them be angry, Lisa said. When this is over, the Krev will not be giving orders anymore. The species who sided with humanity will be the ones with power. The Velcri agreed. Within hours, they announced their withdrawal from the coalition. 2 other species followed, seeing the wisdom in abandoning a war they could not win. The coalition fleet shrank from 2,000 ships to 1,500. Vex Thor raged at the deserters, but he could not stop them. The fractures in the alliance were showing. Dr. Amy Chen was brought to the council station to explain humanity's technology. She stood in a briefing room with scientists from multiple species, all demanding answers. How did you break the laws of physics? A Nishari scientist asked. We did not break them, Amy explained patiently. We found deeper laws. Your species discovered one set of equations for how space works. We found another set, one that allows for dimensional compression and gravity manipulation. Where did you learn this? Demanded a Krev researcher. Amy hesitated. She was not supposed to mention the artifact, but the situation had gone beyond keeping secrets. We found something. An ancient artifact buried in Earth's ocean. It was millions of years old, from a civilization that existed before any current species evolved. The artifact taught us new mathematics. The room erupted in excited voices. An ancient artifact? Technology from a dead civilization? This changed everything. If such artifacts existed, other species might find them too. Back in the command center, Jake Morrison received urgent intelligence reports. Admiral, the coalition fleet is moving. They are preparing to jump to Sol system. Estimated arrival in 6 hours. Jake opened a communication channel to Earth. Director Dan Price appeared on screen, his face grim. The 50 ships are in position around Earth, Dan reported. All crews are ready. Weapons are armed. If they come, we will meet them. Have you authorized the torpedoes? Jake asked. Dan nodded slowly. If the battle turns against us, the captains have permission to use the black hole torpedoes. God help us all. Jake closed his eyes for a moment. This was it. Humanity's first real war since joining the galaxy. Either they would win and force the Council to accept them as equals, or they would lose and face extinction. He opened a channel to all 50 human ships. This is Admiral Morrison, to all Earth Defense Fleet vessels. The coalition is coming. They outnumber us 30-1. They think their numbers will overwhelm our technology. Let me be clear. If they attack, we hold nothing back. We use every weapon we have. We show them exactly what happens when you threaten humanity's survival. Captain Ryan Foster's voice came back. Defiance is ready, sir. We will not let them reach Earth. 49 other captains echoed the sentiment. The fleet was united and determined. Lisa Green made one final attempt at peace. She broadcast a message to the coalition fleet, knowing they could hear her. This is Ambassador Lisa Green of Earth, to all coalition forces. You are about to attack our homeworld. You believe you are defending the galaxy from a threat, but we are not your enemy. We never were. We are a species that was pushed too far. We are a species that refused to stay weak. If you attack us, thousands will die. Maybe millions. Is that worth it? Is your pride worth that much blood? The coalition fleet did not respond. They continued their approach to the jump point. The war was about to begin, and nobody knew if the galaxy would survive it. The coalition fleet emerged from FTL Jump, 10 light-years from Earth. 1,500 warships filled the space, their weapons charged and shields active. High Chancellor Vex Thor stood on the bridge of his command vessel, watching the tactical displays. Send scouts ahead, he ordered. Find the human ships. Locate their defensive positions. The scouts jumped forward, crossing the distance in minutes. What they found made them transmit urgent warnings back to the fleet. The entire Sol system was surrounded by human warships. Not 50 ships. Not even 100. 200 human vessels floated in perfect formation, creating a sphere around Earth and its orbital shipyards. Behind them, visible in the construction bays, dozens more ships were in various stages of completion. Vex Thor stared at the reports. 200? They said they had 50. They lied. His tactical officer clicked nervously. Or, they built very quickly. Admiral, if 50 ships could do what we saw, 200 could annihilate our fleet. We have numbers, Vex Thor insisted, but his voice lacked confidence. The human fleet did not attack. They simply waited, maintaining their defensive sphere. Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of a new flagship, the EHS Sovereign, a ship built with all the improvements learned from the first prototypes. Coalition fleet is holding position, Captain Nicole Ward reported. She commanded the Sovereign, a steady officer who never showed fear. They are not advancing. They are scared, Jake said. Good. Fear means they will think before acting. A communication request came from the coalition fleet. Jake accepted it. Vex Thor's insect face appeared on the screen, his mandibles clicking rapidly. You said you had 50 ships, Vex Thor accused. I said we had 47 when we revealed our technology, Jake corrected. That was true at the time. We have been busy since then. Did you think our shipyards were idle while you planned your attack? You cannot have built this many so quickly. We can build one ship every 2 days now, Jake said calmly. Our automated construction systems work around the clock. In another month, we will have 300 ships. In 6 months, 1,000. You wanted a race? You already lost. Vex Thor's mandibles snapped in frustration. If we attack, you will be destroyed. Numbers still matter. Do they? Jake asked. He sent targeting data to the coalition fleet, showing that every single one of their ships was already locked by human weapons. We can fire before you reach Earth. Our singularity cannons have a range 3 times longer than your energy weapons. Our dimensional shields will stop your attacks. Your fleet will be destroyed before you get close enough to even shoot at us. Enders, 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 Enders. Then this is a stalemate, Vex Thor said. No, Jake replied. This is checkmate. You lose. The only question is whether you lose with your fleet intact or destroyed. The coalition command channel exploded with arguments. Species leaders shouted at each other, blame flying in every direction. 3 more species announced they were withdrawing their ships from the fleet. Then 2 more. The coalition was falling apart. Ambassador Lisa Green appeared on screens across the galaxy, broadcasting to every civilized world. The coalition fleet is at Earth's doorstep. They came to destroy us because they fear our technology. But let me tell you what humanity offers instead of war. We offer protection. We offer partnership. We offer technology sharing, but not weapons. We will help you build better ships, faster communication, improved medicine. We will not conquer. We will not dominate. But we will never again be pushed around. On the Valkyrie homeworld, citizens watched the broadcast and cheered. Their government had been right to withdraw from the coalition. Other species began demanding their governments reconsider the war. Public opinion turned rapidly against Vex's Thor and his alliance. The Krev Empire faced protests on their own worlds. Citizens questioned why they were starting a war with a species that offered peace. Dr. Amy Chen appeared on the broadcast next. We found ancient technology and learned from it. That technology will be shared. But carefully. We will teach you the mathematics of dimensional folding. We will help you understand gravity manipulation. But weapons technology stays with humanity until we can trust that it will not be used for conquest. Captain Ryan Foster added his voice. I command one of the first human warships. I have seen what these ships can do. They are terrifying, but they are defensive. We built them to protect Earth, not to attack others. Every weapon we have is designed to disable, not destroy. We could have built planet killers. We chose not to. The message was clear and powerful. Humanity had the strength to destroy, but the wisdom not to. They could conquer, but chose to cooperate. They were not the threat. The old council system was the threat, with its rigid hierarchies and dismissive attitudes toward newer species. 5 days after the fleet arrived at Sol System, High Chancellor Vex Thor made a formal announcement. The Krev Empire withdraws from military action against humanity. We call for a new council meeting to discuss treaty reforms. The coalition dissolved. Ships began jumping back to their home systems. The war that almost happened was over before it began. 1 month later, a new station was completed. It was built jointly by humans and 3 species who had supported peace from the beginning. The station floated in neutral space, a symbol of the new order. Ambassador Lisa Green stood in the main conference hall, addressing representatives from 40 different species. The old council is dissolved. We start fresh. No species is superior. No species is inferior. We are equals, working together for mutual benefit. Admiral Jake Morrison was named Supreme Commander of the reformed Galaxy-7 Defense Fleet. His first act was to integrate crews from multiple species onto human ships. The Valkyrie sent engineers. The Quindal offered their energy manipulation expertise. Even some Krev volunteered, wanting to be part of the new military. Captain Ryan Foster commanded a training squadron, teaching alien pilots how to operate the dimensional drives and weapon systems. It is not easy, he told a group of Thorian trainees. But if you can learn our technology, we can build ships together. Combined fleets. Combined strength. Engineer Kate Sullivan led a team designing hybrid vessels, combining human dimensional technology with alien innovations. The Nashari have incredible shield harmonics, she explained to her staff. If we combine that with our gravity shields, we can create defenses even stronger than what we have now. The first joint colony ship launched 6 months after the crisis ended. It was massive, using dimensional folding to create enough living space for 10,000 colonists from 12 different species. Inside the vessel, humans worked alongside aliens, building a new settlement on an unexplored world. Dr. Amy Chen continued her research on the ancient artifact, but now she had help from the brightest scientists across the galaxy. Together, she said in a research symposium, we can unlock more secrets from this artifact. Who knows what else we might learn? High Chancellor Vex Thor no longer the supreme leader of anything, attended the new council as one voice among many. He approached Jake Morrison after one session, his mandibles clicking softly. "You humbled my people," Vex Thor said. "No," Jake replied. "We just showed you that being the oldest does not mean being the best. The galaxy evolves, species grow, adapt, or become irrelevant." "Harsh words, true words," Jake said. "Your empire dominated for thousands of years. That time is over. Now, we work together, or we fall apart separately." Vex Thor was quiet for a long moment. Then he clicked what might have been a laugh. Perhaps humans were what the galaxy needed. A species too stubborn to know their place. "We knew our place," Jake said. "Equal to everyone else. You just refused to see it." 200 human warships now patrolled the trade routes of Galaxy7. Piracy dropped to almost zero. Species that had been afraid to explore distant sectors now traveled freely under human protection. The galaxy was more peaceful than it had been in centuries, but construction continued. Earth's shipyards built new vessels constantly. By the end of the first year, humanity had 400 warships, not because they planned to conquer, but because they would never again be vulnerable. Director Dan Price gave a speech on Earth, broadcast across the planet. "We faced extinction and survived. We faced dismissal and proved our worth. We faced war and chose peace. But make no mistake, we are ready for whatever comes next. The galaxy knows now. Humanity does not start fights, but we finish them." In the research station near Neptune, the ancient artifact still rotated in its containment field, pulsing with blue light. It had given humanity the tools to change the galaxy. Amy Chen wondered if that had been its purpose all along. Perhaps the ancient civilization that built it knew that someday a young species would find it and use it to challenge the established order. Admiral Jake Morrison stood on the observation deck of the Sovereign, looking out at Earth below. The planet glowed blue and green, peaceful and protected. Around it, the massive fleet floated like guardian angels. Captain Nicole Ward approached him. "Sir, the latest construction reports show we will reach 500 ships next month. The Council is asking if we plan to stop expanding." Jake thought about it. "Tell them we will stop when we feel safe. When every species respects us, not out of fear, but out of genuine acceptance. When we can trust that nobody will ever again try to keep us small." "That might take years," Nicole said. "Then it takes years," Jake replied. He smiled slightly. "The Council asked us to stay small. They laughed when we asked for 20 ships. Now we have hundreds. They learned their lesson. Never tell humanity what we cannot do." The galaxy had been shaken. The old powers had fallen. The new age belonged to those who dared to break the rules, who refused to accept limits imposed by others. Humanity had unveiled the impossible, and in doing so, had changed the course of galactic history forever. The stars stretched out endlessly beyond the viewport. Somewhere out there, other ancient artifacts might wait to be discovered. Other secrets might hide in the depths of space. Other challenges might arise. But humanity was ready. They had proven themselves once. They would prove themselves again and again, as many times as needed. The age of humanity had begun, not through conquest, but through the simple refusal to be anything less than equal.